Rightio. I think we're live now. How are we on this fantastic Saturday evening? We are now live. Shroom here, it's your boy Shroom. How are we all doing? Let's see who's in the chat today. Can't believe it. I tried to be ready more than an hour early, and I still pushed for time to get started with this stream tonight. I've been really excited all week. Just really wanted to get this live stream going. But yeah, things, life gets in the way. But every month I try to come on and put on a show for you guys. So how are we all doing? Oh, there we go. We're getting some messages now. Now there might be some crazy shadows going across my face in this stream. One of my lights aren't working, so just gonna have to bear with it. But I doubt it's gonna detract from the quality of the show. So should be hearing me clearly. You should be all right. Let me just check my sound here. Let's see if that's coming through. All right, so let me. All right, there we go. Yes, it is working. All right, fantastic. Let's get this off. All right, excellent. Okay, let's see who's in the chat today. All right, so we've got plenty of messages. We've got Hunter Gorel who's in the house. Anko, Balif. Sorry if I butchered your name, mate. Sam Goulda, first person here. Shout out to Sam. He's been here for more than an hour. Joshua Stanbury, Matt Terry, a regular on the stream. I always see him here too. So hi, Matt. Fishbait Sydney. How's it going? Bob Ismail. Yes. Mohammed Barbour. Who else have we got here? All right, let's keep going. It looks like the numbers are already. Well, we're already in the 20s. That didn't take long. Matt Terry says, "How's life, man?" Oh, it's been pretty busy. It's been pretty busy. Just lots of things going on. But there's one thing that's been stable, and that's fishing. So I've been enjoying the fishing. It's normally a case where September and August have been pretty slow for me. But I think we got over this hump, and things are just going to improve. Like as that weather warms up, and we're going to talk more about that in a moment. But let's see who's still coming through the door. Edwards Saj, he's here too. He says, "Put a shoe on your head." I could put a camera hot shoe on my head or something, or like one of them things, not an actual shoe. Can't see it around here. James Klein, all right. Hey, how's it going? You're at Nambucca Heads. All right. So, yeah, I saw your poll earlier. Go chase some GTs. I reckon that'll be the go right now. Tony Cools Fishing and 4x4 Touring. He's here too. Omar, Michael Jermaine. Okay, one of the guys wielding a hammer. All right. We got some authority in the house here too. And let's see who else. All right. Okay. So Andy Theo, and all right. Seems to be everyone here. All right, guys. Welcome to the show. Gonna juke it out. Gonna chop it up tonight. Anything you guys want to talk about? It's been a pretty good, like I said, it's been a pretty good month and a half. Personally for me, in terms of fishing, normally, if you guys haven't been having all that much luck, it's normally a pretty slow period. So it just seems to be that stage where, during the year, there's always that time, and it's always at the end of winter. You can always tell, as AK and Mike's Fishing once told me, like if you there's that one period in the year where even if you soak a bait, it might come back an hour later untouched. And yeah, that's normally how it goes. And we're over that now. So everything from here on out towards the end of the year, as the weather stays warm and the water temperature starts to improve, all kinds of fishing improves. Yeah, and you don't have to fish as slow as you once did in the cooler months. You can now transition to more faster moving baits, hard bodies, and also on surface. All right, let's see some questions. Anything you guys want to talk about? Anything? All right, so Hunter Gorel says you did not butcher my name, and that's rare. Okay, oh, that's good. Off to a good start, Hunter. Off to a good start. Bob Ismail says you're a mad one, mad keen for fishing. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's see some stuff here. So Joshua Stanbury. I tried using burley pellets to fish. Am I supposed to soak them in water beforehand? Um, I know the ones you're talking about. I've seen them, in Woolies. Woolies in Big W and Kmart. I mean, if you throw them in the water, they're gonna obviously become. They're gonna absorb the water, expand a bit, and then go through the water column. Yes, that's how it's supposed to work. He says to attract the yeah, that's right. So obviously when you're burly, you want to get as much fine particulate bait, not large chunks. You just want like a lot of tiny chunks, like a cloud of bait dispersing throughout the water column, just getting them all excited and smelling and tasting food, but not really being able to eat it and get full on it, if that's such a thing for fish. But yeah, so that's the name of the game. Matt Terry says, how was fishing offshore for a change? Oh, I loved it. Loved it. That was my first time out that far. I've been to some of the reefs, artificial reef off Sydney and Long Reef as well. You can kind of still see land, so you don't feel like you're all that far offshore. Like, that's not offshore, right? So it is off the coast, but not really technically offshore. But when you're in the middle of nowhere and all you see is just water, and you know that if you hit some problems, that you're pretty much all out there by yourself, that's a surreal feeling. I think the fishing itself is very interesting. Just seeing how people can target something in an area that's got so much water. Like there's just how do you even describe it? Like beneath you could be like a kilometer or two of water, and you're chasing specific species, and you're just reading charts and trying to follow temperature gradients and anything interesting along the contour lines. Unfortunately, we only got the one hit, which probably wasn't even the tuna that we're after. Probably like a stripey or a bonito, or something else. And that came off shortly after. And yeah, off to Browns. I hadn't done a deep drop before. That was incredibly interesting. First thing I wanted to do was to try to jig it or put a bait down, and then you quickly realize how undergunned you are. 400 meters down, and that's like near the pinnacle of Browns Mountain. Oh, look at that! We got a donation from Fish Bait Sydney. Let's put that one up. Thank you, Fish Bait Sydney. He's been a strong supporter of the channel. Always supporting my posts on Instagram. Thoroughly appreciate your continued support, mate. Yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, thank you very much. I want to continue making videos. I hope you continue to enjoy them. Thanks for supporting the stream. Thanks for supporting this show. Helps me to keep going. Even with the few donations that I've got so far, I've spent everything just on like camera gear and things just to improve the quality of the videos and the show. So yes, thank you, mate. All right, now where was I? Yeah, so just addressing that offshore thing. So yeah, that deep drop. That was the first time I got that gemfish. It's such a weird feeling. Just pressing that button and then having that reel just like whiz really high pitched, and then that fish just coming off the bottom, and you're just kind of like listening to the the pitch of the tone of the reel, how fast it's going, whether it's like getting bogged down, whether that might be a fish or that might not be a fish. Yes, love that. All right, okay. Oh yeah, that's one more thing I gotta say. Stay on top of the chat, guys. So if I fall too far behind, just let me know. All right, let's keep going. James Clan, GT and Jack session going down on Monday. Have you caught any of these? Any tips? I've caught small inshore GTs. They're pretty much like silver trevally on steroids with that round head. So you'll know when you get one because straight away they fight you every inch. You've caught them before, so you know what they fight like. They don't stop beating their tails. Now I haven't caught GTs to the size that you can like sit on your lap. That's I think everyone dreams of catching something like that one day. But yeah, Jax, No, I've actually haven't caught a jack before, so have to experience that. We were up at Weeper. I think some of the boys caught a few mangrove jacks up to about 50 or maybe just in the low 50s. They look like just seeing them hooked up to it looked like it was quite a handful. KD says can't even catch a squid at the moment. Well, I just keep trying. They're out there. Mohammed Balboa. I've been trying to catch kingfish lately in Middle Harbour using live yellowtails and having no luck. Any advice so I can start catching? Well, I guess you just got to keep trying. Early morning, first light, best time to have live bait. Have it in the water before that sun comes up. Generally, that's your first, best chance. I mean, you can obviously go through a couple of hours past the sunrise. You can still catch them then. But I find first light, if you're chasing kings, can't go wrong. Best time of the day. Early morning kings, that's how you do it. Got to be up, get your live bait, have it in the water, all ready to go. Maybe 10, 15 minutes before you expect first light would be a good time. Sometimes you get bigger tailor coming through and they might smash you a squid. I found that to be a problem for me when I've tried to use live yellowtails and live squid. They can get destroyed by some passing tailor, but otherwise that's what I'd be doing. Middle Harbour, one of the best systems to catch kingfish. Anywhere from Spit Bridge, people get them there, or if you're on a boat up near Roseville, down near the moorings of the Spit, around the corner of the headland from the Spit. The name of that place escapes me. There's like wrecks there and stuff. And yeah, obviously if you go, well, I guess you're not going offshore, but the reefs as well. All right, Edward said, what do you do for... Okay, so we'll keep it strictly for fishing at the moment. I'll tell you guys one day. Michael, would you mind if Para wins tonight, we get a week off next week. I'm gonna go to Foster next weekend for a fish. If Para lose, we play next week. No fishing in Foster. All right, okay. That question just went over my head. So you go for the eels, huh? Sam Goulder, what's your go-to lure in summer when the brim are on? Well, I like to transition to surface lures once the brim really are going hard and hard bodies, such as the Atomic 38mm crank in muddy prawn or ghost gill brown. Those two colors in the deep, you can't go wrong. Anybody could catch a fish on those lures. Anybody. I've yet to see somebody not use that lure and not actually catch a brim on those lures. Unbelievable how good they are. Dr. Gum T, is it a good time to catch squid in Botany Bay? I actually haven't gone for a squid session in a while. I think one of the regulars that watches the show, Christopher, went out today, but I haven't heard back whether he'd caught any squid. So yeah, can't answer that question just yet. I can't see why it'd be a bad time. I generally don't think, unless we've had torrential rains and ridiculous water conditions, that the squid would be off bite. Joshua Stanbury, I shall include two questions in one. Is La Perouse a good place for land-based fishing? Yes, it's a great place for fishing. Is the Nepean River a good river to fish in? Yes, they're both. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those places. Depends what you're targeting, of course. La Perouse, I mean, I haven't really done much fishing there except for squid, but plenty of people fish off off that little island or off the bridge and the surrounding rocky areas. And the Nepean River, that's generally where you go chase bass. Good place to chase bass. And if carp is also your thing, you get plenty of carp there too. All right. Let's keep going. So there's one question I'm expecting tonight, and we haven't quite got it yet. And guys, if you're enjoying the show and you're new here, subscribe to the channel. I'm Shroom. Follow me on the social medias. I'm on Insta, Facebook, TikTok. All that stuff's on the channel. Details down in the description below. And if you want to support me further, like Fishbait Sydney, you can send a super chat or become a member of the channel. I think the membership the membership feature is pretty cool. You get emojis, you get a channel badge when you type messages on the channel. I think that's a nice touch. So if you guys enjoy that, the more members I get, the more emoticons that I can put on the channel too. So that's what I've been looking forward to. Oh no, another donation from Fish Bait Sydney. You've donated enough, mate. You've donated enough. So let's put this up. So thank you very much again, Fish Bait Sydney. Thank you very much. Look, you've done your bit. You've done your bit. It's not about raising funds. This show. It's just a bit of fun. It's just what YouTubers do. So again, thank you very much. If you're asking about me making a Trevally video, I will have another video with a Trevally at some stage in the near future. So that wish of yours will be granted. I will have a video with some Trevally. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. That one will be for you. All right, now let's get back to the chat. All right, so I'm up to Omar El Arja's question. He says, "Hey, what fishing spot would you prefer tomorrow? What fishing spot would you prefer tomorrow in Port Hacking water?" I think right now I would be trying to focus down the system, hoping for kings to start coming on the bite, maybe get a kingfish bycatch or chasing calamari. So yeah, I'd personally be down in the lower half of the system. Obviously depends what you're chasing. Of course. Flathead are on the bite right now. There's no doubt about that. If you look at all the reports at the moment, everyone's getting stuck into those crocs right now, big and small. They're on the bite. The brim bite, a little bit different. They're back in the system right now, so they're done with their breeding at this stage. The wattle has started blossoming. They're back in the system. They're back up the rivers. I think the brim are far up river at this stage. And obviously, if they're downriver, they're right tied up against structure. But yeah, flathead, good target in the Port Hacking River right now. Fish Bay Sydney asks more Georges River fishing videos. Yeah, definitely more coming. Rayuda Suhara, love your videos, mate. Keep it up. Thank you very much for your support. I think this might be the first time you're here, so yeah, hope you're enjoying the show. JS Lee, hi Shroom, love your videos. You always seem to catch whenever you go fishing. That may or may not. No, that's not true. I go through dry spells, guys. I don't catch fish as well, just like the rest of you guys. I don't always catch fish, but there's one thing: I always have fun doing it. Always have fun fishing. Always have fun having a go. Always have fun just enjoying this sport. And if I get something, that's great too. For me, it's like 50-50. He continues at best. How often do you go fishing in a week? I go about twice a week. So I generally try to fish once in the daytime. Try to get that weekly video happening. Just try to keep some content coming along, and once at night. And yeah, generally fish with the boys, chasing, carp or whatever else at night, just to relax. Matt Terry, yeah, mate, for the guy fishing for kings, go inside of the spit, fish the tide. Yeah, that's right. Yep. So Matt Terry knows what's up. There would normally be tons of boats. Exactly. You can't go wrong. If you ever, this is a tip. This is just a general tip. If you fish, I guess this mostly applies to Middle Harbour system. There seems to be just a few select gun fishers that keep working that same system. The same people, same boats. You see it. You obviously see in every other system, but especially in Middle Harbour. If you go to that system and you just pay attention to where all the boats are holding up, where they're collecting their bait, where they're doing their down rigging, where they're focusing, whether they're heading offshore. You can see some of the the charters as well. Sometimes you learn so much. You can see what they're all doing. You learn all the spots and all the wrecks in short time. Matt Terry says use half pilly and you're yep. I personally don't use too many half pillies unless I can't get a live bait on the pilly, and then you just have to use it. half pillies, catch plenty of kings. Geordie Rima. All right, Geordie Rima. Where do you catch your kings and on what? Generally, if I'm targeting kings, it's when I'm on a boat and I'm in either botany, trying to trying to soak a live bait down at Molyneux Point. Molyneux Point, you can't go wrong. Some days they're just firing there. Some days it's almost hard not to hook up there. You'll know whether it's worth persisting. You just got to look at the amount of boats. If there's not that many boats there, not many people are getting success and they're moving off. But if you see a mini car park, they're there and they're on. That's one place, and Middle Harbour and the harbour itself. Just just the main areas: Roseville, Spit Ridge, sometimes offshore at the wrecks. Sorry, not wrecks, the reefs. Long Reef, the harbour, the wedding cakes. What else? What else is in the harbour? Yeah, Goat Island. Yeah, just all around those areas, trolling and also just doing laps really around headlands and stuff. And yeah, when I target them, I'm using live squid, best bait, can't beat it. If you chase kings, live squid is like the bait to get. You just can't beat that. It's almost like you struggle not to get hit by a king or something decent if you have a live squid. As long as you're not like going through schools of leather jackets. So obviously watch your sounder. If you see like just a cloud of tiny little things and your rod tips going bang 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 bang, and you know that that's generally not a king. If you get all those tiny little hits, keep it up off the bottom and try to just down rig somewhere else. But otherwise, that rod buckles over completely when you've got a live squid. Live yakka, I find that you get less action and it kind of like narrows it down to something decent as well. So depends what you like to do, what your choice of bait is. Michael Jermaine says, I got both them atomic lures. Tried so many times and nothing but donuts. Okay, well, if you try during the winter, it's tough going. So, little tip here. So, I like to use hard bodies when I'm getting nipped in the tail, and you can kind of like narrow it down to when that is happening. When the lure's on the bottom and you're not really getting hit, or on the drop, and you're not getting that solid, single thud, where you can decide that something's just decided to engulf the lure right now, and the only thing that your instincts tell you to do is to strike hard. When you're not getting that indication, you're not getting that feedback, and getting these little taps. All right, maybe firstly I like to keep the bait moving and see if it's a whiting or, something small. Sometimes whiting will have like little hits at the lure. You got to kind of encourage them to engulf it. Little EPs do the same thing. So EPs stand for estuary perch. Perch do the same thing. So there's some fish that they kind of like to nibble at it. And if you're finding that it's still not working, sometimes if you can just wind the lure in and find that, okay, it seems to be consistently happening on the plastic, throw down a hard body, and more times than not, you're going to start hooking up right away, especially if the lure is going through the strike zone in the same general depth that you were getting those hits. I'll say springtime is a good time for hard bodies, but in the winter, it can be very tough. I haven't tried, because I know from previous experiences that you're not really going to have that reaction bite. Everything's slow. All the fish are lethargic. They're sitting on the bottom as well. They're on the bottom of the water column, not near the top. Okay. All right. So that answers that question. Hopefully. Joshua Stanbury, are there any good spots along the Nepean that you know of that are good fishing spots? I haven't done all that much at the Nepean. In fact, I can't even remember. So yeah, sorry, I can't help you with actual spots. Reek K, any recommendations for leader strengths when using jig heads and surface lures for inshore fishing? Okay, so we're talking about finesse fishing. I generally stick to 6 pound. So 6 pound to me is the all round go. poundage when it comes to leader strength. I do that because you won't believe how many good fish will smash a tiny, tiny plastic, whether it's a big flathead or a trevally. You can also get kingfish and salmon bycatch. That's so common in Sydney, especially in the warmer months. So personally for me, I like fishing 6 pound for that reason and making up for it with my technique. So people like to fish 4 pound. I like to fish 4 pound when either I've got a net or I'm fishing flats, and I can pretty much just, gradually bring the fish towards my feet without putting too much pressure on. With the 6 pound, I feel a little bit more comfortable. When it comes to the length, it depends on the rod I'm using. So I personally just use an arm span length as, just a general purpose length for me. If I'm using a stiff rod, sometimes when I'm using my Battler Beowulf, which is a very fast action rod, I will increase that a little bit. The reason why I increase that is because the fluorocarbon has some stretch, so the stretches can be very good, especially if you fish hard and you like to lock up drags and the fish is fighting hard with sharp head shakes. You're not going to pop your leader knot, which is the main way that you're going to lose a fish. So if you add that little bit of extra length in that case, then that helps. Now, when it comes to surface lures, hard bodies, I like to use 6 pound because, these lures aren't cheap. They're 10 to 20 bucks each. I find that, some people even use monofilament and thick monofilament for surface lures because it helps the lure track better, on the top of the water. I personally don't think it makes all that much difference. I just use fluorocarbon 6 pound. It's just, I'm a bit lazy. I can't be bothered retying another leader unless I've retied the night before and got that going. And that was all I was going to do that day for surface lures. Coolest Moth 45. Hi, how's it going? Good to see you here. Could you maybe go snapper fishing? Look, maybe one day. I think Terry, a regular on the channel, wants to do it. At some stage, we'll be doing that. And that's going to be something because I haven't chased snapper before. And I'm going to imagine we're going to be doing it with plastic. So that's going to go off. I'm going to be loving that session when the time comes. It's like catching a big red brim, right? Kid Fisho. Hi, how's it going? Catch and cook. Actually, yeah, I did have an idea for a catch and cook. I don't know what's happening now. I contacted another fellow YouTuber. He'd been asking me for collaboration. Hasn't gone back to me, so I don't know if he's busy or not. But I did mention that one good idea would have been a catch and cook. Shroom's first catch and cook. I don't know if we might need the ambulance on standby. He might get food poisoning. Nah, that'll be fine. I think what I'll do is I'll do a squid catch and cook or a flatty catch and cook or something. Seems to be the go. I think I could do that. I know I could do squid. I've done it before. We can definitely do some salt and pepper squid rings. Nothing better. Beats anything that you can buy off the shops. Buy from the shops. Louis Maverick. He says, yeah, Shroom, would you consider filming a rock fishing sesh chasing pelagics? Yes, one day. I'm a novice when it comes to rock fishing, so I'll need to go with Terry or, one of the boys that do it periodically and know, the ins and outs of reading the conditions and all that. I do like the idea of spinning some lures off the rocks, chasing pelagics. I really need to get a longtail. That's one thing. I've been heartbroken since Weeper. I mean, I don't know how everything just kept going wrong. I've told this story many times, but lost about 1 meter longtail in Weeper, and I still haven't got over it. And I know that I can do it in Sydney if I go up the coast and start spinning off the rocks and put in some, good time, of course. But yeah, haven't done that yet. That's right at the top of the wish list. Fishbait Sydney says, Shroom, just helping out so you can get more watermelon red. That's right, watermelon red fleck Z-Man grubs, the best, and the slim swims. Can't beat it. Something about that color, guys. Something about green with a bit of red. Green, it's natural, and that red just looks like scales and blood. It just gets them going. And it's a worm shape. Brim don't shy away from worm shaped lures. All right, Sam Goulder. Would you ever consider trying Pro Lure paddle grubs? Paddle grubs. Okay, so I haven't heard of the paddle grubs. I've tried Pro Lure paddle tails before. They, I mean, back about 5 years, or maybe even a bit longer than that. There weren't that many of these, I guess, like lure brands out there. They were just the major ones, and Pro Lure was on the. I don't know exactly when they came up, but they were one of the brands that were active back then. I did try it. I was trying those lures to catch jewfish with, so think my mate caught a few on the Pro Lure paddle tail. I didn't get lucky on that, so I pretty much stuck to the squidgy fish in Silver Fox. That's the go-to. That's the go-to plastic if you want to get into chasing jewfish on plastics. Can't beat it. There's about 101, maybe 1,001 videos on those plastics, and you can't go wrong. Yeah, I need to get some. I need to get some of these Pro Lure paddle grubs if it's a new shape, new design. Quentin Jackson, I bought watermelon red today because yeah, that's right. At least I'm on the rack for me, Quentin. Can't beat it. Actually, I've got so much in the back, so many of these lures in the back. All right, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. I'm Shroom. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on all the social medias, Insta, Facebook, TikTok as well. I think I need to put up a video on TikTok. I haven't put up one for a couple of weeks, but trying to keep that active. If you really want to support me further, super chat option is available, and you can also become a member, a Shroom Club member. Click on the join button, have a read, see if it's for you. I've got 2 tiers now. One is extremely the cheapest price point that YouTube would allow me to put down. So really, I just want to have something fun on the channel, so you guys can just get more enjoyment out of it. You get a channel icon and you get emoticons to play with. So the more members I get, the more emoticons. I've been wanting to put up a few more, put up some more, I guess, memes and more fish. Because I quite like that. I think it's a nice touch. All right, so we still haven't we still haven't got that question that I've been expecting. So guys, if you guys have been keeping on top of all the happenings in the fishing world in terms of, like what's happening and gear and, all that stuff, I'm still waiting for that question. It hasn't come up yet. All right. I'll dare say it's going to come up in the next bit very, very shortly. Let's see if that question comes up. Okay. All right. So, besides from watermelon red, my other favorite is bloodworm. Between the two, you're pretty much covered from dirty water to clear water fishing. So clear water, watermelon red, you can use it in dirty water. I find that it does work. And for dirty water, the bloodworm, the brown with the red, brown, clear. I think there's also like silver and blue glitter interdispersed throughout the material. That one doesn't get more natural than that. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing, guys. Have you noticed that I like those lures that have the glitter? That's something I like. I don't know why. Something about lures that have glitter that just does it for me. I have a lot of confidence in lures like that. All right, okay. So, looks like I've where am I? Okay, so there's still about a dozen questions. I'm back from the. Okay, all right. Hunter Gorrel, Shroom Spit Bridge is booming at the moment. I pulled a 70. Well done, mate. Good stuff. Good croc there. 40 centimeter trevally. Look, that's sounding like a good session. And heaps of smallish brim and snapper. All right. How big were the snapper? I'll be interested to hear about that. I think you can get some big snapper there at times. But, the weather's been pretty calm, so... Yeah, I'd be quite surprised to hear, interested to hear what size these snapper were. Muhammad Barboa says so that's directed at Hunter. Okay, and Hunter continues, and he says, and heaps of kingfish at Spitbridge just use cubed or weightless pillies. All right, that goes that's pretty much confirmation with what I think Terry said earlier, that you can catch kingfish on pilchards. So there you go, guys. So Hunters doing this at the spit using cubes. So small, small cubes of pillies, weightless, just on a hook. Great technique land baits, especially at wharves. I find personally, I don't do too much of that kind of fishing, but some of my mates do that and they slay. Basically, pilly cubes down through a burley trail. Kings will frequent spots and do circles and laps. Maybe every half an hour they might come by. You've got your burley trail going. The pilly cubes, biggest bait in that trail, they'll nab that, and away you go. Issa says, today I bought a primal 12 centimeter rig minnow lure from BCF. Is this plastic good? I haven't used the primal lures and I can't quite picture it, so I couldn't tell you, unfortunately. Vaz 1984, any chance of some freshwater stuff, freshwater stuff at some point, such as bass, redfin, and trouts? Look, guys, I've actually got some videos on carp, but they don't seem to do too well. I don't know. I don't think people like catching carp. I don't have any bass at this stage. I was going to do a trout mission with the boys in the winter, but yeah, it didn't happen. I'll have to look into it. I was hoping for a trout video this year, and redfin, love it. I think Oberon was the last place that I had gone for redfin, and they go off there. If you can just find out where the schools are and where they're sitting, just cast after cast, you're getting a hit or a fish. Kind of like catching small bass or medium-sized brim every couple of casts. Hunter Gorrel had a kingfish come up when hooked on a trev, got it on video. Oh, excellent. I'm interested to see that one. Eshays, my bar, if ever fished Manly Lagoon. Yes, I have fished Manly Lagoon. Manly Lagoon, very polluted though. I've actually seen, very polluted, and you see people swimming out the front of it, just like right next to that sign. That tells you how polluted it is. Crazy. Apparently a lot of exotic species in Manly Lagoon. So, big eye trevally, giant herring, what else? GTs, mangrove jacks. Look it up, guys. Google it. If you're interested in chasing some exotics, Manly Lagoon's got the answer. Now, I haven't got any, unfortunately. I've caught a giant herring in Sydney Harbour, but I think that's pretty much as exotic of a fish that I've caught. But I did go to that place seeking something like a GT or a jack. But yeah, so I have fished that place. Eshays, Hunter Gorrel, my bar. If you're going to fish Manly Lagoon, use bread as baits. All right, I might try that myself. See if I get something. James Klein for the Nepean spot question. The Weir Reserve at Penrith is pretty good. Yep. So this is James' advice to a previous question. The gorges around the upper reaches of the river is good, including the Warragamba and Nepean Junction. Thanks for that, James. Helping a fellow fisher out. Joshua Stanbury, what can you catch around Mossman like Clifton Gardens? Well, you can catch everything from trevally to brim to tailor, salmon, kingfish. Generally, if you go on there, you're trying to chase kingfish. So most people that go there, I would say, hoping for schools of kings or some kind of pelagic to pass by. I think you get some quality pelagics there at times. Tony Cools fishing and 4x4 touring. Who cooks all your squid for you? I cook the squid. Just with a laptop in front of the kitchen bench, making sure that you don't overcook and overdo things. No one wants rubbery squid. James Klein says, Shroom, do you own any heavy stuff like Saltigas, Stellas, Saltus, Saragosas? I've only got like a 6,000 Stratic. That's probably as heavy of a reel that I've got. I've got a few heavy-ish rods, three Saltiga rods, up to a P4 to 6. I think that's my heaviest one. But yeah, not in terms of the reel. Actually, talking about reels, I almost since the last live stream clicked the buy Saragossa 10,000 button. I don't know when I'm going to use it, but I was that close to getting one. Reek K, can you explain some techniques when using 6 pound leaders so you don't lose fish? Okay, first of all, get your knots in order. If you don't want to lose fish, get your knots in order and set your drag right. So I used to practice tying my leader knots. Most people can tie their terminal knots pretty well, I've noticed. It's that leader knot that generally pops. So you need to actually learn how to tie it and get the maximum out of your leaders, out of your leader knots, basically. So once you got that down, you can really put on a lot of hurt on 6 pound. I like to set it so that, you know, the fish is going to be able to run, but not run very hard and fast. It's going to be very laborious for the fish to run. And if I need to just put a light feather on the spool with my palm, then I can do that. I mean, it depends on the situation, but you got to set your drag right as well. Generally, you're going to lose fish when you set the hook. Because anytime you put shock through the system, shock, which is like sudden movements and sudden loads and offloads of the rod, striking, if the fish just decides to shake its head, or if the fish just decides to turn around and quickly go for a run, it's in those spikes of pressure that your knots are going to fail. I mean, you generally don't lose, you generally don't pop your knots and pop your leaders halfway through a run. It's always pretty much at the end of a run when you get dusted on a snag, or right at the start, or during a head shake, or when you're setting the hook and it's just all come apart on you. So yeah, that's my advice there when it comes to looking after, basically pushing your 6 pound braid and leader to its maximum. You got to tie strong leader knots, get that down, and then set your drag right. If you're finding that your leader knot isn't doing the job, maybe learn some stronger knots. Not all knots are the same. Most people will firstly learn to tie the double uni, which is a solid knot. Nothing wrong with a double uni. But there are plenty of knots stronger than that out there if you so choose to learn it. But number one, a properly tied knot is the best thing you could do for yourself. It doesn't matter if you're tying an FG and you do it poorly, and then you compare it to, a double uni and you've tied it the best of your ability. That double uni is going to go further than that FG knot, even though the FG on paper is a much better knot. Obviously it's a much better knot, but you have to tie that properly. And also, some knots are easier to tie than others. Surgeon knots, double unis, full blood, easier to tie. It's easy to recognize where you might stuff up on the knot too when the wraps don't come around properly. As long as you lubricate it properly and you cinch up, you've got pretty much maximum strength. The FG knot, very hard to determine. I've had to practice and practice and practice. Tie buckets of water, tie it, load it up in the garden, figure out what's going wrong, how it's popping, analyzing those knots. Is it unraveling on me? Why am I not getting back the leader? There's so many things, but if you can perfect the FG, that'd be the way to go. But otherwise, double uni or some of the simpler knots, if you tie it properly, it's easier to recognize where it might go wrong. Much harder for the FG and knots that are more complicated, like, slim beauties and stuff. A little bit more complicated. So in general, the more difficult it is to tie a knot, the stronger it is. Like, that's complete generalization, but that's in a nutshell. All right. Okay. So back to the chat. Here we go. I'm still expecting that question, guys. I have not seen this question. It's been the talk of the town and talk of the fishing world. I'm looking on my other screen. Still not there. Guys, keep putting your questions in. Someone's going to get the question. All right, here we go. I've thought about this question too, because I thought there's no way I'd go through a whole live stream and not get this single question right now at some stage. Okay, back to the chat. Back to the chat. Pity says, "What's your favorite fish to catch?" Nothing gets the heart pumping more than mulloway. That fish is just, captured my heart. It's captured a lot of fishermen's hearts. You won't see many fish that will push fishermen to such extremes to learn, to chase, to master, to live through the pain, the agony, the joy of chasing mulloway. There's just something about it. It could happen on your first cast, first time you're chasing them. You might succeed, or it might not happen for the next hundreds or thousands of sessions. It's just one of those things. Now, in this day and age, with the internet, forums, Instagram, you can really learn. You can really learn about pretty much, any kind of fish that you want to catch. Go back 5-10 years, and there's not much out there. You'd have to Google and look up articles that people have written, bookmark them and come back to them periodically and try to, absorb something, put it into practice, come back, and then test. But yeah, mulloway, and then I guess brim. It's like the rat of the sea. They're everywhere. First of all, you can catch them in any water, but sometimes you just can't even raise a bite from them. It's just unbelievable. You can see them, and they just don't want to bite. It just, I guess it's like a love-hate relationship. So those two fish, I guess they stand out. Interestingly, when I started learning to lure fish, all I could get was just brim. I can't believe it. I was telling my mates, look, I want to get a flatty. I want to get that flathead. And they're saying, oh, why? Like, you don't want no flathead. You don't want no tailor. Trust me, you don't want them. And I was like, no, but all I can catch is brim. How can I not get a flathead? It took about 50 brim before I hooked into the first flathead. Fell in love with that as well. So I pretty much like to catch any kind of fish, but those two stand out for me. I guess it's also, dependent upon your experience and the kind of emotions that you get when you've caught it. So I remember when I first caught my first mid-30s brim, that was just cycling in my head, for the next year, basically. The best fight ever. It's like, couldn't imagine anything. It just, at the mid-30s, it was the first brim that was tall, like when you hold a fish and it gets longer. Fish gets longer, centimeter here and there. Once it starts hitting that mid to high 30s, they're getting taller. Their shoulders are starting to get wide, and you really just, wow, that's a big fish. That's a big fish, and that's only in the mid to late 30s. Then when I got that 47.5 during the winter, see, this is why I can't knock this winter session, this early spring and past winter session too much, because as you guys know, if you've been watching it, and if you haven't, there's a video on my channel. Got that PB brim on the Z-Man Slim Swims in Bloodworm. So this one was not on the Watermelon Red. I just had a look at the conditions. I was fishing like a mud flat. Kind of looked like brown would be the go. And 47.5 on the tape, it took it. I thought it was a brim at first, and then it fought nothing like anything because it was so big. I hadn't experienced a fight like that before. And I started to doubt what it was. I didn't know what it was until it came up, and then my heart just sank. When you're fighting a fish and halfway through, that heart, that blood is pumping. It was pumping after the first run or two. And I was just like, oh, what is this? What is this? Look to my left. No one's around me. No friends to help me. No one to calm me down. Oh, geez, this is you're all by yourself. You can't see a thing. You can't see where that line is. Is it going towards a rock or going towards a snag? It's just all on feel. That's the worst. It's like hard in your mouth stuff. Yeah. So check that video out. In the winter, you'll see it. You'll see the thumbnail. It's got the head on that thing. Amazing. I'll never live. Yeah, I'm just living through that experience every time I think about it. The best. So yeah, guys, hope you guys can get something like that one day. I don't think I'll ever beat a fish that size ever again. Not in Sydney, mate. Maybe not in Sydney. I hope I can break the big 5-0 at some stage. That's everyone's dream. But can't complain. Anything in the 40s, it's taken years. I've caught so many just on 40 and just to break 40. It's been a mission. So I guess getting any kind of sizable brim in Sydney is tough. This system is so fished, so well studied. There's a line with a lure, with a bait in the water 24/7 at pretty much every single spot in Sydney. All right, here we go. Back that's me going off a tangent. So so if you like that tangent, hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. All right, here we go. Back to the chat. All right, so if you haven't got that question, that's all right. That's all right. I think we'll see that question at some stage. I'll be doing a video on that too. So just to give you a hint on that, just to let you know what my thoughts on those things are. James Klein. Oh, okay, no, I've just done that question. Okay, so we're down here at Funk. All right, here we go. All right, now it's just all right. There's the chat. Have you tried the? Oh, here we go. Round of applause. That's the question. Can't believe it's taken what near 50 minutes of this live stream to get this question here. I'll give you a prize, the Funk, but I don't have anything to give at this stage. But I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for the question. And he says, have you tried the Daiwa bait Junkie? They look great. Okay. He didn't ask the question, but he's asked me about these lures. Look, let's talk about these lures here. So I haven't tried these lures. I've got my hand on a few packets. I've also ordered some from BCF that I just haven't collected yet. So I'll let you know exactly what I think about them soon. I mean, I do have a couple of packets right here. Let me just bring them up. Just gonna lower my head. I'm still here, guys. All right, here we go. So we've got a couple of packs here. So I guess you guys don't need to see my face when it comes to this. So let's just put this up like this. So if you guys, anyone that hasn't been living under a rock, should have heard about these in some form or another. These are the latest lures from Daiwa, called the Daiwa Bait Junkies. Like, honestly, it's going to be interesting to give these a go. These are a couple of packets of grubs. The 2.5-inch grubs in a couple of colors. I have looked. You know what? Why don't we go check it out? Do you guys want to go check out some lures? Maybe I can just put it up on the screen and we can go check out and read what they have to say about these lures. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can hold the stream together. Let's get the chat off here. Okay, so let's see if I can bring up their website. Guys, ignore the shonky production here. So this is just me holding a green screen. You might have seen the edges of this thing. Yeah, one of my lights are working. One of them aren't. So, all right, no, you guys don't need to see my face, right? You guys want to see the lures, don't you? All right, so this is what's on their website. Daiwa Bait Junkie. Picture of a big red with a plastic in its mouth. Let's have a look. Let's see what they've got to say first. All right, now, let me just see that I can... All right, yep, good. Okay, so I'm seeing on the second screen. So, development insights. Bait Junkie is the culmination of years of collaboration between Daiwa engineers from Japan and local Australian R&D teams. Okay, so years of research, I believe, is what they're trying to say there. So that's good. Developed specifically for Australian conditions. So let's keep going. Bait Junkie is the furthest evolution of the soft bait design, incorporating innovative material science with unique and functional 2D and 3D designs to release a full range of soft plastics that are just as effective as they are exciting. Okay, so a bit of marketing jargon there. So I don't know what they mean by the 2D, but you know, these lures are 3D molds, right? Bait Junkie baits and packs are also loaded with shrimp power oil, a powerful shrimp-based formula to make sure that the moment your lure hits the water, it's working. Okay. Okay, so interesting. So when we're talking about these lures here, I guess the first thing we want to do is also, you know, determine if they're good, for our our needs, if they address our needs, and also what they are like compared to the competition. So I guess having scent is a good thing. Kind of reminds me a bit about a bit of the Damiki lure range. The Damiki lure range is also shrimp infused. So obviously I've got those packets next to me, but I haven't opened them up and checked them out yet. So if I'm gonna say now, this is like disclaimer, I haven't opened them up yet. But if it's anything like those Damiki bait, Damiki lures, it's gonna be all right. I kind of do like scent infused plastics, like the way Z-Man do it with some of their lures, how they've got all that scent spread out throughout the packet. That's okay as well, but it kind of can get messy. I kind of prefer lures where I can apply my own scent first of all. But if it's infused and it's a bit like the Damiki ones, they might have a bit of smell, they might be also a bit like power bait. That might be more a lure that people are more familiar with. That would be all right, I think. Okay, let's keep going. So it says, it's the small details that set the Bait Junkie apart from the competition. When Bait Junkie baits are made, the mold was designed in such a way so that the baits can be perfectly cut from the mold, making the fronts of each bait perfectly flat with no injection markings. This makes rigging Bait Junkie baits incredibly easy as they perfectly match to any jig head on the market. Speaking of rigging, they've got, okay, so I'm just going to paraphrase. So they've got basically like a channel where some of these plastics have like a little ridge at the top or the bottom that helps guide your rigging. I think that's pretty good. And also they're saying that the packages pretty much encase the plastic so that you don't get bent tails. So this was a problem with the Z-Mans many years ago when they used to just throw them in the packet with no plastic to separate them, and you do get a few bent tails. Now, that was at the cost. I don't know how many people were fishing Z-Mans back, more than 5 years ago, but back then, those plastics, those plastics, you'd get, I think you get 10 in a packet. You get 10 grubs. So Slim Swims weren't around back then, so basically you just go for the grubs in the Z-Man. And the 3-inch minnows. The diesel 4-inch minnows weren't around either, and there was a few other plastics, but I didn't really use those ones. But when it came to those plastics that I've just referred to, they were just obviously just thrown in the pack. You did get a few bent ones. You kind of had to look at the pack at the shop just to make sure that they're pretty good before you bought them. But yeah, shortly afterward, I think they realized anglers were reporting that some of these plastics weren't straight, so they put them in the packaging, and and it's good to see Daiwa have done the same. Now, it would be nice if they could put 10 in the pack. So Z-Man, if you're listening to this stream, I don't know if you guys can go back to 9 lures or 10. I mean, we lost 2 lures at the price of straighter lures. I guess that's a fair trade, but you got some competition on your tail now. Oh, we've got a donation from Owens. Cool. All right, let's put this up. Thank you, mate. Owens, he says, "Hey, Shroom, how's it going? Great stream as usual." Hi, Owens. Thanks for supporting me in the previous streams. I appreciate your continued support, and your donations helps keep this live stream going. So, yeah, I always appreciate you popping by. If you've been here for a while, hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you've got any questions, just put them down, about these lures or about, anything at all. So I think tonight, just happy to spend time with all the subscribers. Yeah, so guys, now would be a good time to just plug my channel. So if you're new here, I'm Shroom. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And if you want to support the stream, you can do so as Owen has done with the super chat, or you can become a Shroom Club member. Click the join button, have a look, see if it's for you. Been trying to get that program up. We've got a member so far, so I hope he's enjoying it. I haven't seen him tonight just yet, but hopefully he pops down at some stage. Okay, now getting back to these plastics. So yeah, so that's what I have to say about about what they've got to say about their development insights into the plastic. So designed for strain conditions, everything sounds good. I like the way that they've said that they've kept them straight in the in the clamshell. Also, they're saying that actually, yeah, one more thing. They're saying that these plastics on the end where you rig the jig head on, it's not going to be a problem with like extra mold. So it's not going to be inconsistent. So some of these plastics do have a little bit of elastomer or polymer basically, and it's not quite flat. So that can be a problem. That can definitely be a problem. When you rig up, sometimes I use my scissors and I cut off just a little bit of an end, and then I rig the plastic through. Then, so I actually had a close inspection through the packet, and it's living up to what they're saying on the blurb there. Very straight. So hats off to Daiwa. So no, I don't know if any other brand's done that, but they look very, very straight, very flat. And if you're the kind of fisherman that needs everything perfectly straight, the hook's got to be straight, the plastic's got to be straight, everything's got to be in order for you to throw that plastic. There's nothing that induces more confidence than having that go your way too. Okay, so let's just quickly check out these plastics on the next page. So I've just clicked on that. Let's see whether the stream will update there. Yes, it has. Okay, so far from what I can gather, from what I can see here, you've got the grub patterns into length to 2.5 inch, which is a good size. I think there's nothing wrong with the size of the lures. I've had a look at the color range. There seems to be an expansive color range. I'm pretty sure, like most plastics, it's quickly going to dial down to a couple of colors that people feel confident in. So for most plastics that have a big range, it's going to dial down to maybe 2 or 3 that people are just going to consistently buy. Now, it's a race to find out which ones at this stage. So I think the color range looks pretty good. There's a lot of natural colors in there, and there's two-tone colors as well. Some of the two-tone colors, I guess you have to rig them in a certain way. It's got that counter shading, pretty much like real life live bait. So basically, the counter shading is important to camouflage bait from above and below. So you'll notice that a lot of so actually you can see here with this, I'll just zoom into that. So you can see here with this plastic here, it's got the darker plastic, well, the darker coloration on the top and the lighter coloration on the belly. So what that does is, birds and prey that come from above and they're looking down, they're looking through the water, and everything below just looks dark. So a bait fish will look perfectly blended in when you see that. Now, the idea behind the lighter belly is obviously you're going to have predators that come from below, right? So when they come from below, they're looking up at the bait. Now, and what do you see when you look up? You see the sky. And the sky is a very light, contrasted color. And so that's why a lot of these fish have these white bellies. So now I think it's a good idea. It's very natural. Now I just don't know how much camouflage you want on a lure. You kind of do want it to stand out. So the fish can pick the odd one out in the bunch and nail that. But yeah, great scheme there. So the other lures you can see here, the minnows. This is the one that I'm interested in checking out as well. I just want to see how this compares to the competition. So the Z-Man Slim Swims. It's been the standout performer. I haven't seen anything on the market that has made me even want to try anything else. So maybe these 2.5 inch bait junkies can do that. I can see that they're segmented, some of these paddle tails, so you're going to get more action in the tail. Generally, in the past, with the material, so I should say about these materials so far, what are they called? They call them the Elastamax. So I guess they're like the Z-Man and the Squidgy BioTough range, where they can, you can pull them, you can stretch them, you can put them through, a lot of force, basically. Torsional force, stretching force, ripping force, shearing force. And once you remove that force, if it hasn't torn, it's gonna bounce back to its original shape. And in Australian conditions, nothing goes further. No, there aren't any lures that are more bang for your buck than those semi-indestructible lures like the Z-Mans. That's why they've done so well. And the Squidgy Biotough range, which are good. So I'm probably going to start using a few of those lures too. And the bait junkie, from what I can see, it should be just as durable here. And and one other pattern. So so far I can only see 3 patterns, and the bait junkie 5-inch jerk shads with a fork tail. Apparently these have good actions. I've been told that they've got a nice wobble to them, and I think they swim a bit like a snake. They snake through the water. I think I'm interested to try them out, and I think that they're going to do well in the conditions for kingfish and salmon and such. But yeah, that's my initial impressions of these lures. All right, okay, let's get back. All right, here we go. Let's my chat. All right, okay, whoa, okay, all right. So something went wrong there, guys. But I'm back, guys. I am back. All right, okay. So I'm probably gonna get a bunch of messages on why I just disappeared from the screen. Accidentally left the live stream room. Oh, we've got another couple of donations, I think. Oh, another donation. Let's put it up. Only Andre says, hi Shroom, Daiwa or Shimano. Look, this one's hard. I really like both, and I have gear from both. And I can prove it right now. So let's hold one from each brand. Hold a reel from each brand right now. So what's that? That's the Stella. Not the current one, but this is the FI. Love this reel, caught plenty of Jews on that. And then you guys know I've got the Exist, but I don't have it here on the table. So this is the Daiwa Steez. Mag sealed, all that, all the bells and whistles. Okay, oh no, this is not the one. This is the Steez A. Okay, so where's my, okay, hang on. I actually got the magnesium bodied one. It's up above too, but I like both to answer your question. I hope that suffices. Thanks for your donation, Only Andre. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the stream. Okay. All right. Here we go. Back to the chat. Back to the chat here. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this question first, guys. Will this get more people watching my videos? Enter the Dragon. Hi, how's it going? I see F Dream. Thanks for popping by. Thanks for your continued support. He says, "Hey Shroom, do you have any female subscribers? And can we do a meets and greets?" We do actually. We do have a few female subscribers, and it remains to be seen if they'll turn up to a meet and greet. So maybe I should convince a few, and then get this meet and greet happening, so you guys can be tempted to come down. Not that you guys need tempting to come down. I mean, the last live stream, I felt like half of Sydney came down. That wharf, Clifton Gardens. There wasn't room for anything. I thought as the sun was going down that there'd be more room. There wasn't any room. There wasn't any room for fishing there. If we do another subscriber meet, obviously my time's your time. I try to spend everything I can, all my time, just to be there. My time there is basically not to fish, but to give back to you guys. Time. I guess time. It's hard to put a price on time. That's why I like to give up my time to you guys, just for all the support that I've been getting. But yeah, thanks for that question, Enter the Dragon. Okay, Quentin Jackson says, can you use soft plastic on a standard bait? Can you use soft plastic lure on a standard bait rig, ball sinker, swivel hook, and jig it like you would a jig head? I think you can kind of like rig it like a paternoster. I've done that before. I think they call it a Texas rig or something. Correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. I've done that on a boat, just paternoster style, put on a gulp. up and down, just vertical movements of the lure, and you catch like small snapper. They come and they hit it. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty fun. So I was using gulp, I think gulp sandworms at some stage, and I was just mucking around with Dave. You know, you just have your live bait rods out, waiting for that king, moored up, and then what else is there to do? Keep busy, flick a lure, put a lure on a paternoster that was meant for something else, and see if you can catch something. So yeah, I mean, there's ways to do something, and then there's being imaginative and seeing if it works. Trial and error. I mean, there's no reason why that wouldn't work. No reason why that wouldn't work. Also, I do use sinkers when I fish with worm hooks. I used to use worm hooks with sinkers when I fished snaggier areas in the Cooks River chasing brim. First of all, because you lose all your tackle just casting in some areas, but you know the fish are there. So you're always tempted either to keep it off the bottom or try something different. So using a worm hook, you can kind of hide the hook point a bit. I like to tie. This is one rare occasion that I use what do you call a loop knot. So I tie a lefties loop, and in the lefties loop, I put a small sinker that's held in place, and obviously that's on the worm hook, and then I thread through a grub, a Z-Man grub, and you might still get snagged, but that's kind of like using a ball sinker and some other different thing rather than just a jig head and a lure. That works. That definitely does work. I think that if you hook up on those lures, if you get a hookup, the hookup is more solid because the hook point is just better shaped, and also it's just bigger. When you hook a fish on a bigger hook, it's less likely to flex, and you're less likely to pull hooks as well. So it's an idea for you, Quentin. So hope that answers your question. Ghost says, if you have a meet and greet, where would it most likely be? If you know, I don't know at this stage. I'll like to do one as soon as it's safe, to organize a gathering of people. But yeah, I haven't thought about it yet. But if you guys have any suggestions, shoot me a message somewhere on my social media, or through YouTube. I read every message. The tide is neap. Hi, how's it going? Good to see you here. He says, what lubricant do you use on your reels? Is Inox MX3 okay to use? Inox MX3 is perfectly fine to use. In fact, it actually might be better than what I'm using right now. As you guys know, some yous have seen that I've put up, just a couple of videos on reels. I've put up one about the Exist LT. I've also put up one on how to add an additional bearing to the drag stack of, the drag system basically. So one was the drag stack, one was on the axle, the main axle of the reel. So, just to get that, I think a slightly smoother drag. And I use Inox MX5, which has Teflon basically added to. I think it's basically just MX3 with a bit of Teflon. But don't quote me on that. But that's from my understanding what it is. Now, one of the avid viewers replied back and said that there's a potential for the Teflon to crystallize. I guess is what he was saying, like precipitate, form a bit of solid, and that's not a good thing. Your high speed bearings. You need smooth operation. You don't want precipitate or some kind of solid crusting over in the bearing. But personally, I haven't noticed that, so I'm still want to continue to use it. I think he did say that he thinks that it's okay. He's not 100% sure, but he's heard that. But with regular oiling, he reckons that may not be a problem, which is obviously what I do. I mean, if you're going to have reels, you might as well look after them and oil them every couple of sessions, clean them, and then, oil the bearings that allow you to be oiled. So obviously avoid the mag seal bearings or any of the Shimano ones that have an anti water repellent coating on them that they say to not oil it, but just, rinse it under, fresh water. But, handle bearings, for example, they're not mag sealed. They're not protected in any way, and they can get grindy with salt.
and sand. I just like to put down some, a couple of drops down there, and also in between, the bail arm. That's another one. So the bail arm, if you do a lot of casts, which you do, if you fish lures, that's, that bail arm's flipping over back and forth a couple of 100 times a session. If anything gets inside between those two parts, that's gonna basically erode away, corrode away, just gouge a hole with that little grain of salt or sand inside. And I like to put oil down there, and you just like flip it over, and it's back to smooth. And you'll always have that bail arm working properly when you need it. It'll just flip over, and you get that satisfying click. If you looked after your gear, you get that. If you haven't, then it's just like crunch, and it's like almost open, but it's not. And no one likes it real. No one likes reels in that kind of condition. All right, here we go. So next question. Okay, so Ghost says only Andre. I hope it's Shimano. I love it. I love Shimano. I love Daiwa gear too. It's like they say, it's good to have companies that fight for your hard-earned dollars. It's good to have companies that try to outdo the other company. Otherwise, you get stagnation, and you're never going to get anything interesting on the market. It's always going to be the same old, same old. But every brand's got a lift now that Daiwa's coming up with their bait junkies, which look great. They're all the hype, all the rage right now. Everyone's getting onto some good fish. I mean, Shimano have their range too. But the hype's died down. They've had their time. I mean, maybe they should bring out some new pattern, some new color, something. You got to do something. You got to do something in the marketing world sometimes to get to grab that market share, to grab that attention. Like they say, advertising, it's once you start advertising, that's it. The attention goes, you got to keep on advertising. Big companies do that. McDonald's, Coca-Cola, the ads always. Everyone knows soft drink Coca-Cola, right? And everyone knows fast food joint Macca's. They're always advertising. Always fighting for your hard-earned dollars. Okay. All right. So I've answered Enter the Dragon's question there. Thank you for the question, Joshua Stanbury. I've done a few fishing sessions, still haven't caught anything since 2014. All right. Okay. So all right. Condolences. No. I'm only joking, Joshua. There's obviously something up there. You probably haven't been fishing for like 5.5 years. Okay, let's continue. And then he says, my handle flew off the rod. I've actually seen that happen. One of my friends, that happened, and the guy next to him just like laughed. And my friend was so embarrassed, he just wanted to go home. Not a good feeling. He was just whining by turning the spool. So I'll show you. So basically, the handle flew off. So then he was just whining by turning, and the guy next to him, he burst out the biggest fit of laughter. I was feeling sorry for him, mate. This guy's had the biggest hearty laughter. And my mate was so red. Handle just flew. Whoa, handle just flew off. Flew off the reel. And yeah, that's what she wrote. All right. I went off a tangent there, and sorry, Joshua. Let me continue. While I was casting off a wharf at Connell's Point. Yeah, okay. I hope no one was watching. No one wants to. I hope no one was watching for your sake, Joshua. Look. If you haven't caught a fish since 2020, mate, like, have you been fishing often? Is there anything that you're doing that you want to let me know? I want to give you some advice here. I mean, I think everyone in the chat doesn't want to hear this. Doesn't want to hear a story where you've lost your handle. It's not a good thing. And you haven't caught, a thing for 6 years. Or do you mean you haven't caught something good for 6 years? That's different. If you haven't caught what you've wanted to, you've been chasing a dewy and you haven't caught that, you just caught brim, flathead, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But if you're saying you've been soaking a bait for 6 years and you haven't got a touch, yeah, that might be a problem. Yeah, let me know. I want to help you out. Okay, so where it all began says, hey brother, do you ever fish down in the Gong? Okay, I think I fished it once or twice. Yeah, not very often. I think every live stream I get a few questions on heading down there. I might do that. I might do a session at some stage. Head down there, do a nice little video. Rick K, do you think fluorescent is needed for fishing at night? Okay, so fluorescent glow. Okay, so yeah, so phosphorescence. Phosphorescence is the mechanism that allows lures to glow long after being exposed to a light source that energizes, the material. So I love fluorescent material or anything that kind of looks like it's fluorescing at night. So plastics that are kind of radioactive green, they always look good. Yellow, they always look good. Anything with a strong silhouette, darker lures. Black apparently works really well. I can definitely tell you that for squid, I will not throw a squid jig. Well, I will, but like 99% of the time, I can guarantee if you want to up your catches, use a glow-in-the-dark squid jig. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. It just outfishes anything that doesn't glow. Like, I'd rather use a glow-in-the-dark El Cheapo, about $3, $3 jig that glows than, a Yamashita that's not having a glow. It means that much to me. So it really, really is the best thing for squid, and I guess for fishing as well. I do like those, like I said, those radioactive colored, yellow colored, something that kind of looks like it's got its own glow, even though it doesn't. I mean, some of these green lures, they don't glow, but they kind of look like they're glowing. I think with a bit of light, it just sticks out in the conditions that little bit more. Kid Fisho says, your go-to lure for Jews, diesel minnows have been working great for us recently. We got one today as well. Congratulations, Kid Fisho. You've been killing it. You've been killing it. So well done. You've been getting some quality Jewfish on the plastics. I remember when I first started trying it, took me forever and a day to get my first. Everything went wrong. I think I might have hooked up to 2 my first session, because my friends were next to me, and they got their fair share of Jews, and the runs on 2 of the fish, they were definitely Jews, but popped lead or not, which is a question that I addressed earlier, was the result of, I think, two, yeah, both lost fish. I know at least one of them was a popped lead or not, and the other one I can't remember, but it might as well have been another pop lead or not. And so, like I said, you gotta get those. If anything's gonna pop, you gotta make sure your leader not tying is in order. I obviously hadn't got that under control at that stage, because you're going from tying 6-pound leaders with knots that work well for the amount of pressure that you're putting on, and suddenly you're stepping it up to about 12, 14 pound, and it's a bit harder to turn those loops around. It might require a few less wraps here and there. Everything just behaves slightly differently, and that's pretty much what happened to me. And then over the next like 50,000 sessions, I didn't get a hit, and I went through the whole gamut of upgrading my gear, my braid, improving my lure knots, until I finally ticked it off. But yeah, well done. My go-to lure is the squidgy fish in 80mm in silver fox color. Plenty of videos on the internet of the 100mm version. You can't beat it. I mean, that is the go-to if you want to get started, or anyone that wants to get started chasing jewfish. If you want something that's tried and true, and it works, and it's worked everywhere, and it's worked for every person at any time of the day, at almost any kind of action, that there are videos that you can watch of people using that exact lure, and you want to just replicate what they're doing, that's the lure to go for. Now, all these other lures will work too, but there is a big thing and a big deal with chasing mulloway, and that's personal confidence. You need that confidence. I can't stress how important having confidence is. You might have the best technique in the world, and then you just don't feel confident. I don't know why. When I don't feel confident, it just doesn't work for me. But when I feel confident, even if I'm, not at the best time, not at the best conditions, I'm going to see some success generally. I'm going to see some action, some bites. You know, that's enough for me, because I guess the ultimate thing would be to get good enough so that you can pretty much get them on the regular. But you know, land based, that's a bit tough. That's a bit tough, and it's a mile away. That's why we keep going back. Yeah, so that's my favorite lure. I have used the diesel minnows. My last 2 or 3 jewfish has been on the diesel 4-inch minnows, and I'll tell you the color. It's on the midnight gold. I've caught a couple on the midnight gold. What is it? Yeah, on a 3/8 ounce 3.0 hook. Now that was the first time I used those lures, but the first 2 sessions that I did, I'd caught. So stoked. I knew that would work, because after a while, after that many hours that you put in, you know what's going to work, and I felt confident. Like I said, confidence is a huge deal. Whoa, Michael? Oh, thank you very much. Let's put this on the stream first and get back to the question, because I love talking about Jews. Thank you very much, Michael, your friendly neighborhood mod, for the $15 to support the channel, to support the show. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your company here. Not just the donation, but you know, you're looking after the chat. You're on my Facebook. You're on my YouTube, writing comments. Thank you very much. Yeah. So getting back to the Jews, I felt confident in those 4-inch diesel minnows, and again, I'll tell you the color, guys. So midnight gold. I think I've also caught some on the green color as well, but I forgot the name. But midnight gold. Look, this, like I said earlier in the stream, anything that kind of has like glitter and sparkles, I like. And that one, perfect. That's like the ultimate sparkles. Also dual color. So the top of it counter shaded with the dark, and underneath it's like an unnatural gold. Kind of like that color light there in the behind me. It was like that, and with glitter throughout that. So it's shimmering through the water, clear water, cloudy, muddy water. They're gonna see it. Like I said, no expert on anything, but that's what's worked for me. Yeah. Okay, now I love talking about juice. Now let's get back to that comment there. So where is it? Where is that? Okay. There we go. Okay, so yep. All right, so I already read the whole question. Yeah, so yeah, that's my answer to that Kid Fish Show. Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up. I've only lost plenty of gear there at that spot that you got I think the second one at the other day. Plenty of lures there. That's like the snaggiest spot in the world. All right, let's leave that conversation as is. Crypt Clan. What hard body lure would you suggest for brim? All right, so I mentioned this one earlier tonight. The Atomic 38 millimeter cranks, hards. I think they call it hards crank. In either muddy prawn or ghost gill brown. So muddy prawn for it kind of looks like a purple color as a general color scheme. I think like purple, white, a bit of black, I think orange. And the ghost gill brown is it's a clear body, but it's black and brown. So it's a bit on the clear side. So good for clear water. I find both of them are pretty good as an all-rounder too. So if you don't really want to think about the conditions too much, and you just want to throw around something that's going to have a great chance of success, and all you're going to need to do is just wind it, you can't go wrong with those lures. There are some better lures out there, but I think for the price points and for the amount of success that I've had on those lures, you can't go wrong. I can recommend them all day. I got a couple of videos on the channel, and I caught a 40 on film. Just trying to do a how-to video. So that wasn't planned. It just happened, and testament to the quality of these lures. Okay, Owen's Cool Cryo Clan says you watch his. Yeah, that's right. He used Hard's cranked go skill. There we go, Owens. That's right. There we go. Shout out to Owens, avid viewer, knows what's up. Okay, Vaz 1984. Do you think November will see a big increase in pelagics? Tried 5 to 6 times the last few months with no salmon or kingies. Just that 50 centimeter trev. LOL. Look, I haven't caught a trev that big. I haven't caught one on the tape that big. I think I've caught a mid 50s, but I didn't measure it. But 57, that's like a beast. Anything in the 50s for a trev, that's a beast of a fish. Like in my last video, where I caught one in the Georges, that was probably like mid to late 40s, and that you can see in the video. There's no hiding. That was a handful. That was more than a handful. That fish. Now, it might have been a bit hard too because I was like pretty much fishing all these snags and in the middle of a channel and with tide assist. You know, it's like wind assist basically. So once it runs, you can't stop that run. It's got that tide going in that same direction. But yeah, what a handful. 57, awesome. Now, when it comes to kingies, like I said, one good thing to do is to just you got to be out there in the morning if you want to find out where they are yourself. Early morning, best time to see them swim up against the edges. All the popular spots that you see people that catch kings at, you'll know whether they're in the area. Like, word spreads quickly. Now, if you want to be a bit more lazy, Facebook. Anytime kings come through in their schools of hundreds, probably not thousands, but like hundreds and hundreds of them, you'll see those videos just go viral. And it's not hard to work out like approximately which area they're in. You just got to go there in the morning and then go in the vicinity. I mean, the kings swim around. They're not just holed up in the one area that they saw it. They're everywhere, and they're in their hundreds. You can't miss them. So I'm expecting that to happen in the summer. I think last year in the summer, Botany Bay went off. Molyneux Point, that was like going off. I think I might even had a few videos of that place. It was just like king after king after king. Everyone's getting them. Can't wait for that to happen. And obviously, if you're land-based, you can't go there, but you can still fish nearby areas such as Kiama Breakwall. Kings get caught there on the regular. I know that. Oh, excuse me. I know that they've been catching kings there, in the past month. And you can also try the boat ramp at what's it called, Foreshore. There's videos of people catching kings there, and there's no reason why they wouldn't swim by there if they're at Molyneux Point. And Dole's Point. Every time I hear about kings up at Molyneux Point, you hear people say, oh, they caught one just Dole's Point or Tarrant Point or something or other down that area. So they're all along that stretch, that beachy stretch. Probably not within casting distance of the actual beach. Maybe off those groins. People get them off the groins, but can't go wrong with Kiama Breakwall and Foreshore Boat Ramp. And obviously, if you want to go out towards, the Heads, Bear Island. So, yeah, I'm expecting it to heat up, to really heat up. This autumn and winter, it's been less people fishing, I'd say, because of, the current situation. There's a lot of people fishing now, but less fishing pressure throughout, the earlier part of this year. So maybe that might also be an indication that this year might go off. I think last year was one of our best kingfish seasons ever. Now, also, right now, there are some big kings getting caught. I've seen, like, photos of meter-plus kings. I can't remember the areas. I think it was, like, Middle Harbour or in the harbour. So they're out and about right now, too. Generally, you get the big kings inshore and the smaller ones a bit quiet inshore during the cooler months, but in the warmer months, those rats are about, and that's a good time, especially if you're just a catch and release fisherman and you're using light gear most of the time. You're not really targeting them, but you gotta say no. Like me, I flick those lures for brim and flatties. That's a good time. I did have a look at the water conditions last month, and there was quite a bit of jelly prawns. There was like I don't know how to describe it. Not like a bloom, but like just a sudden increase. So it always ebbs and, increases exponentially during different parts of the year. We've just gone through a phase, or we're still in the phase of like millions, billions of jelly prawns. The kings love them inshore. So I'm just keeping an eye out on them. Now, I haven't been out there in the early morning, so that's the best time, but that's an idea too. All right. Okay. So next, Mingstar, what's a good time for squidding in the harbor? Early morning, late afternoon, and at night using glow jigs. So yeah, early morning you can catch them in the shallows pretty easily. In the afternoon, probably the last 2 hours. Last 2 hours I've had success. I think I've got a video or two land based. Getting a few calamari. Just in the latter hours of the day, and just once the sun's set, I find it goes a bit quiet. But once it's had time to quieten down for an hour or two, and the bait fish has started to congregate underneath, the lit areas of the wharves, that's when it's you're back in you're back in business. You're back in business for the squid. Good time. Nighttime's a very good time just chasing squid in general. So that's because with those lights, they're always attracted to lights. It's like moths to a flame, as they say. Moths to a flame throughout the night. If you don't, even if it's not like a really weedy area at all, even if there's just neighboring weedy areas, you can really just get squid. Like, I've seen them in areas that I've never caught squid in my life. Like, just at night, just because there's been a light that's been there on for a couple of hours. I mean, I haven't recorded on film, but that's definitely happened. It's like, it's weird. There's some spots people tell me about that they catch squid at night, and you think, well, never seen one in the day, never caught one in the day, never seen anyone throw a jig, but they're there. They're there at night. The light just brings them in. Very interesting. Reek K says, ever use the double clutch lures? Yes. I don't have any currently on me. I haven't used them for about a year or two. Really, really, really good lures. I don't know if there's anything on the market quite like those Daiwa double clutch lures. They are dynamite on the black brim down south, and up here you can get them on the brim as well. The difference is the yellowfin are a little bit more active. So they'll pick it up off the bottom, but you don't have to do a stop-start twitch to get them to bite. Sometimes they prefer a constantly moving bait. So yeah, so that's where the atomic comes into its own, because you have to basically just keep moving that bait because it floats up. It's extremely buoyant. And the double clutch is weighted to have neutral buoyancy. So completely different lures. And yellowfin like the the chubby style lures. The black brim do like the slender, thinner lures, from what I've been told. So yeah, that's yeah. Oh yeah, one more thing. Double clutch lures. One of the subscribers told me that they were getting kings consistently off them on the not the small one. I think, what's the small one? The small one's I think 40 millimeter. The bigger one, the 65 or so, I think it was. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure on the size, but they were working on kings in Sydney, in Botany, so land-based too. So yeah, if I get some double clutch lures, it's gonna be probably trying for kings. I mean, obviously you got to upgrade those hooks. You got to retrofit them with something that's gonna hold up, because you hook a king that it's crushing those barbs, 100%. It's got to crush those barbs, so you're gonna have to upgrade them. And yeah, and one more thing. And for some reason, Daiwa lures have these Daiichi trebles, and they seem super, super sharp, but they're so like thin and prone to just crunching and breaking. Yeah. Super sharp though. I guess you can't have it both ways. You can't have the sharpest, thinnest hook and at the same time the strongest hook. Given that they're all the same material, right? So I guess you got to take the pros with the cons. The cons with the pros. All right, so where am I? So Mingstar, also high tide, low tide for squidding. Well, the general consensus is so long as the current's flowing is a good time for squid. Anytime you see stagnant water is probably not a good time. I'd say if you're land-based, you want high tide, because some areas, you're just not able to get that cast out far enough into deeper water, unless it's on the high. Hunter Goral says, Shroom, check Instagram message. I sent you photos. Yeah, thank you very much. I'll definitely check that out a bit later. Pity says, have you ever used tube worms? If so, do you like to use them? No, I actually haven't tried tube worms. I reckon, yeah, I mean, if I do try them, I guess I'll try chasing some brim or whiting with them. I've heard of heard that that's a whole lot of fun. So I tried using nippers for whiting with Terry. I really enjoyed that. So maybe worms is another one of those go-to techniques, go-to baits for just a bit of fun. Fish bait Sydney Shroom. Do you fish Salt Pan Creek? Yes, I do. I fish Salt Pan Creek. Only Andre, isn't that where he caught his whiting in his new video? Yes, that could be. Steve Griffith says evening or hi Steve. Welcome to the show. All right, so yeah, let's keep going. Owen's cool fish bet 10,000. Okay, yep. All right, let's keep going. Let's go for another 5 minutes, guys. Great show so far. I'm Shroom. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on my social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. If you want to support the channel, you can send it through a super chat or become a Shroom Club member. Really appreciate you guys tonight being here. Hope you guys are loving the show. Hit the like, and yeah, thanks for being here. Joshua Stanbury, what are the best spots for land-based fishing on Sydney Harbour? Yeah, too general of a question. The best I could do is give you recommendations on spots close by and what you might get there. I think that's like the fairest thing. I mean, everyone's got their own preferences when it comes to spots. Joshua Stanbury, are prawns that are old and have been in a freezer for a few weeks still good to use? Well, if they're not good to use for bait, they're good to use as burley. So in any case, just keep them. If they're smelly, they're really good as burley. It's just whether you can put up with them if you're just gonna tie it on as as your main morsel of offering for the fish as bait. Joshua Stanbury, is Jarvis Walker a good brand for rods? Yeah, no reason why it's not. Yeah, I think they have some good offerings. Obviously, they're not making like high-end carbon graphite rods, but for composite rods and fiberglass rods, they really make rods that the average person can throw around and not break the bank. And they'll catch fish. They do the job. Got great actions. Your dollar goes very far with Jarvis Walker. Rick K, any advice on avoiding wind knots? Yes. So after you cast, always flip over the bail arm with your hand and not with the bail arm. I mean, this is if you want to completely try to eliminate wind knots. So you can obviously turn your handle. That'll trigger the bail arm to flip over. But the best way to avoid wind knots is to do it with your other hand that's not doing the casting. The one that's holding the butt of the rod. If you cast, like I'm right-handed cast, that left hand comes off and it flips it over. And then as just good practice, my left hand always touches the braid, puts it over the line roller, gives it a pull, and then I wind in the slack. So that's line management. So what that does is it avoids first of all, if you trip over the bail arm manually, that avoids the line going around your spool and in between the spool and under the rotor. When the line just goes under the rotor and it's like a headache. You might have to unscrew the spool and it's got the grease on the line now once you pulled it out. That avoids that. That's like the biggest headache. Second of all, once you pull the line through the line roller after you flipped it over and you wind it, it ensures that if you get a hit and you got to be stuck into the fish right away, the line is not like traveling along the bail arm and then finding its groove in the line roller before the drag is being pulled. I find that if it's like moving like that, it's like a sudden jerk on the rod too with pressure. So I like to just pull it a bit, test my drag, just a click. It gets me an idea of like how tight I've adjusted my drag after every cast. Sometimes I loosen it, sometimes I tighten it. After every cast, if you do that, and then you wind in the slack, that's another golden thing that you have to do. Wind in that slack. With no slack, you can't get loose line flying around the place and tangling your reel or the guides. So yeah, I guess it's just good habits. You have to develop those habits. All right, so we're gonna go 3 more questions, guys. 3 more questions. I'm gonna just pick 3 more questions. Vaz 1984. The tail action on the bait junkie minnows is crazy. I have 3 packs. I've only used a 2.5-inch bloodworm minnow, but in 2 sessions I've caught a brim, some tailor, and 2 flathead already. Wow! Congratulations. Well done. I'm now excited to have a go. Have a go on them. Okay, Da Funk says Daiwa took the Z-Man plastic up a notch, especially the grub and the minnow. They swim so good. Yep, that's that's just making me wanna go check them out right now. Joshua Stanbury, haven't caught anything since 2014, which was a decent sized flathead at the Georges River National Park. Okay, yeah. I hope you get some this summer. Hope you get something in the next session, Joshua. Let me know how you go. I think let us all know how you go, and yeah, let me know if you still got any problems. Got to figure out this problem of not having a fish since 14, but it sounds like you're only counting the quality fish, so that's all right. That's all right. Hope you get a quality fish soon. Okay, now do those count as questions? Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, no, that's All right, so I've gone past all this stuff here. Okay, Flip Flop says, "Where's Frank Sinatra?" Well, he's right here. PD 1984. If you have to choose George's or Parramatta Eels. No. Parramatta River, Sydney Harbour System. It's just got more options for the average land-based, on-your-foot fisherman using lures, catch and release. Okay, 2 more questions. We'll count that one as question 1. Let's see what else is here. Okay. Ashan says, "What's the easiest beginner lure to use for brim and flatties?" The Z-Man grubs. The Z-Man grubs. Why a grub pattern? Because grub patterns don't have to be rigged straight. You know, a worm is not straight, so you're good there. First of all, you're good there. You can rig them slightly crookedly. Obviously, don't intend to like rig them crookedly. But if you get it off center, who cares? It's a worm. It's doing this through the water. It's doing something that a fish is not going to be able to quite understand, except make it look like a worm. Second of all, it's catches everything, so you don't have to like narrow it down to catching a certain fish. You can catch brim, you can catch flatties. I think you'd also be happy catching whiting or tailor, or if you get so lucky, kingfish bycatch, mulloway bycatch, salmon, trevally, things that pull a lot of string. They're not going to refuse a grub lure. All the colors in, every brand also has their own lure. So you can pretty much pick any brand that you like. They have their own grub offering. So, you're good there too. And the way that it sinks, you can have a slower technique as you get used to, as you say, for a beginner lure, beginner techniques, beginner practices and habits. You can be a bit slower, flipping the bail arm over, managing line, make some mistakes. The drop of the lure is that bit slower. You're going to be on top of the lure and be ready to strike more often than a fast sinking lure. And last of all, it's got a curly tail. All the action is that's as much action as you're going to get out of a lure. So you don't have to twitch it. You can just do a slow lift, or if you want to start with the standard technique, just a double lift, double hop, and it's just as good. Either way, can't go wrong. That's my advice. Okay, now I can't remember whether that was 2 more questions or was that 1 more question. Okay, we'll count 2 more then. 2 more. Okay, so let's find the ones that people are asking for advice here. Okay, Joshua Stanbury says, "Is foreshore drive boat ramp a good fishing spot, and is it a better spot than Kayima breakwall with the amount of people fishing in the one spot?" I think they're both fantastic spots. I can't really pick one over the other. It's just what you prefer. They both have a lot of people fishing it because they're great spots. No doubt they're great spots. You catch kings, everything else, and kings and mulloway and whatever else that's in the water goes through those 2 spots. Yeah, I can't pick it. Okay, one last question. Okay. Rike says, have you tried the ZX 40s? ZX. So ZX is the prawn one. Yes, I have. So it's a one with a round bit at the bottom with the lead, and it's got the trailing assist hooks. It's like the best blade that I've ever used. Some other companies have made similar lures as well, because these just slay the fish. They slay brim, flathead, trevally, and a lot of people post up pictures of them catching mulloway. So that, I mean, you kind of don't want to catch mulloway on them because those hooks are really small, and you could lose a good fish just from pulling a hook. But yeah, ZX40s. Personally, I've caught brim flathead and whiting. I find the trailing hooks ups your chances with whiting, especially. They like to just nip at the tail. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you're new here, I'm Shroom. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to, take this off YouTube, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. Follow me there. All the links are in the description and on the channel and on the main channel page. You can support me with a super chat. By joining the Shroom membership program. Just you can find out more about it if it's for you, not for everyone. Click on the join button. All the details there. And guys, hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for all your support as always, and I'll catch you in the very next video on Thursday. I'll see you all there. See you later. Have a good evening.